Yeah, I guess I'm ready.
Okie doke. um,
Oh wait, we have to roll for my class.
your Saren
Um,
core, yeah.
yeah, my Saren course. Is that what it's called? Here, let me write that down. I gotta know the terminology. I don't want to be up in here just um.
One more question. Did anybody talk to her about player pausing?
Well, she might have read it. I'm pretty sure it's in the new player thing. But
Uh,
yeah, at any moment you can player pause, with the exception of if you're in combat or a life-threatening scenario.
It is not in the document.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good that Riley
Okay.
brought it up then.
Yes, yes. I did a quick control F search for the word pause, and there is no pause in the document. So
Supposed to be like a player commands. I try to leave out because player commands are like things that you learn as you like
that's
explore.
makes sense. But so sorry. So I can just pause and I can just do it once. Whoa.
You're not allowed to player pause during life-threatening events, and that includes
Okay.
in combat.
Okay.
Right? So if you're actively in like a fighting scenario, you're no longer allowed to player pause. Sometimes I'll allow it because you have to like go walk the dog or something silly like this.
Oh
Uh
yeah, yeah.
but
Or like
but you're not supposed to be doing it. You get my meaning.
yes, exactly, exactly. It's not like, oh, okay, well now I'm stressed out and need time to think, so I'm just gonna do a player pause and
Yeah.
say, so, yeah, I get it, I get it, get it.
Mhm.
Okay.
But you can player pause during any kind of non life threatening thing and take your time.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
All right, that's good information. Um, yeah, all right, I think we're ready to rumble.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me. Hmm. Go ahead and roll me a d100 to start.
Okay, so do I just in the
Dice
is it
roller chat.
live dice?
Mhm.
Is it just roll 100?
Yeah, it should be roll slash roll and then 1d100, and that should get you it.
Oh, okay, there we go. Okay,
Okay.
86.
So now go ahead and roll me a d6
5.
and then roll me another d6.
Which I actually don't know because that's actually who knows what that means. That could actually be bad.
Yeah, this isn't
Yeah, right. Yeah, a 2.
so
Which and then 2, I don't know. Does high mean good or could
no,
that be
no.
bad? I don't
These
know.
these subsequent rolls after the D100 are just a placement thing. I have like a crossboard type
Okay,
selection for this.
nice.
You're gonna be very similar to John. This is actually a really unique spawn as far as witches go. Um, your first memories were as a young girl, right?
Okay.
Um, I presumed you procced all the gifts from fire, correct?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Yes.
So your first memories from when you were like 4 or so, a small girl. You you're growing up in this glade. Okay,
Okay.
it's a beautiful place. The stars look like they're constantly shifting hour from hour in an unusual pattern. It's not like a consistent stream. Occasionally, it like glitches out on some level, like visually. And the place that you live is under what's called the veil. So it has occasionally like dark, really dark, kind of like gloomy setting clouds, but the clouds sometimes are thick to the point where they completely blot out the sky, and they have various hues. Now, in this glade, the hues are pretty dramatic. You have like dark crimsons and like emerald greens.
Ooh.
Occasionally, you get like occasionally the skies turn almost entirely blue.
Ooh.
There's a lot of silvers. Various like dark, like very high contrast esque colors going on in the Vale. You take trips out with your mother, who is known as Nihilus.
How do you spell
Um,
that?
sure. Um, I've put it in your private chat. You see that?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
Okay, awesome.
that's
Awesome.
our chat where we communicate anything mind game between one another.
Okay.
Um, so your mother Nihilus is the Great Witch. She is the Witch of Witches. All witches who have ever existed have trained under her, and you are one of the such privileged people that train under her.
Ooh.
Um, this is still a fairly early time in consideration. So while she may have lived for thousands of years, she has only actually trained 6 witches. You would be her 7th. Um,
Okay.
just as a thing that you would know. Um, so when she takes you on her like outings to show you the world or show you the environment or teach you something or blow away peasants in the countryside to show you how powerful you will become one day, right? This kind of thing. Um, you see that this veil and this sky of the regions that she goes to is not as erratic as when you're in the glade, which is your home.
Okay.
Which tells you that somehow the glade is more powerful. It's more beaming with energy, and you do feel that as you learn to use your core.
Okay.
She teaches you from an early age that a proper witch should be thrusting her power out and consuming the area around you. This proves dangerous for you. You go through bouts of fever, sickness, disease, and all of these she can cure you from. The Great Witch cannot be defeated by blight, by sickness, by death. And you have died. By the time you're 6, you have learned to fear everything magic in this world.
Wait, I died?
Yes, she brought you back.
Back to life? Oh, so I'm a zombie.
No, you probably would have like fever dreams of thinking that like because you lived that like undeath for a moment while she's reviving you. And you do know that she has like servants out in the gardens. And I'll play you through that because that's probably a pretty striking moment. But you would be approaching this like statuesque tree that's in the grove, or in the glade, right? And in the glade there exists this like swampish type area where a lot of the roots are like exposed and they're big and gnarled, right, and gripping into the earth. And one of them is standing up and has this like statuesque figure, like someone took the time to carve a soldier into it. And as you approach, right, it twists to meet you. And the face is very clearly of a human, but it's like melded with the tree. And the soldier, as you go to know him by, right, is very much alive and has been imprisoned here. So feel free to speak to him. You approach, right?
Oh my god.
And feel
Okay.
free to RP however you like. Sure
Am I current age or is this me as a child?
This would be you somewhere between the ages of 4 to 6. Feel free to decide.
Okay. So
presumably on the latter end, but
I was gonna say, yeah, I assume 6. Yeah, so okay, I'm 6. Jeez Louise, which is funny because I I don't really have a lot of childhood memories. So trying to put myself in that place. Let's see here. So that'll be interesting. So
me either, but
yeah, right.
We're presuming you're a smart character here.
Yeah, I'm really like intellectual, like little girl, like coming up to this like man. He doesn't say anything to me first.
If you give him a moment, he presumably you would. So okay, this is a part of the game. If you don't tell me how you emote, I'm going to give you an emote, and it's your job to disagree and replace if you like, if you disagree and want to replace it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm okay. So I definitely, I know I probably would not say anything. Like, okay, well, I'm not gonna say anything. But I would look at it like scared, like eyes like a little wide, like a little scared, but also perplexed, and like I have this feeling that like this gut feeling that it's probably something my mom did or like something, but like why? Like I really don't understand why or like who it is. And so but I just have like instinctively already as a little girl, I know I do have that gut feeling that something isn't right about this, but I know it's not that it is necessarily malicious, but maybe how it got to that point would be. So I'm just like just instinctively like unsure about it.
Okay, so would you be instinctively reaching out in quotes or instinctively backing off in quotes?
Not, I kind of like honestly like just solid. Like I'm not necessarily like flight. It's not kicking in, and I'm not fighting either. I'm just kind of like
some kind of decision time. So like you're standing still.
Yes.
Okay. So he addresses you right after a short while. And he says, "Richling."
Richling.
Mm-hmm. And you see him point his like wooden spear that's attached to his arm, right? He can't let go of it.
Oh, so he actually like has arm. It's not just a face in the tree. Like he is actually kind of a tree. Okay.
He's like a centaur if a centaur was molded with a
With the
tree.
tree, or like okay, or like a Trent, like a real life. Okay, okay. Oh, oh, interesting. Okay, this changes things a
Mhm.
little bit because he's like an actual entity. Like, can he like so he? But he's in the ground though. Like he obviously doesn't have legs. Like
The
he
tree
just
part of him is completely
yeah.
enrooted in the swamp.
Okay, 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 okay. Rich
You're
and
presumably still on the glades grounds, so like you haven't quite entered the swamp, but you're at the perimeter.
am I like okay? And this is the part where I think I'm gonna struggle, and I'm sorry if I get annoying with. So, am I allowed to know what richling means, or no? This is me trying to. I'll have to figure this out, and I'll ask questions.
You can ask your character wisdom, yeah.
Okay,
So
like
when you ask your character wisdom, you're essentially saying I'm thinking to myself, but you're giving it as a command.
oh, okay,
So like Michelle, I use my wisdom to find out what witchling means, that kind of
okay. And do you have to have that stat to?
thing.
Can anyone like so say if I because
Oh,
I know I
it
already
can
have
be
been
wrong.
given.
That probably helps
Okay,
too.
okay. So like say I mean like if I know like maybe I know I don't know right now, but like theoretically say I
No,
knew
you
I
don't
was.
know. Well, you the player don't know if you know, but you can choose to like accept what your character spits out to you or create your own new definition.
Like, so would I be able to use like a dexterity though? Would I be like, can I use a dexterity to figure something out, or is that not how that works? This is like a different context.
Um, okay, so the way that your physical stuff works is if you can do it once, you generally can do it always.
Okay, okay, okay. And then so, but thought comes with wisdom. That's not necessarily my SS stat. That's just a thing I can do.
Everyone can wisdom. Whether or not it's like accurate or not is its own thing.
Okay,
You have
okay,
to kind of get a feel for if your character's smart or not on your own.
okay. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So Michelle, I'm gonna use a wisdom, and I want to know. Do I know what ritually means?
Yeah. So you are a witch and you are a child. This makes you a witchling.
Oh, at least a richling. Okay, this makes so much more sense. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I should use my ears a little better. Um,
No, you can always ask me to repeat stuff. I
yeah,
prefer that you don't. Just to be clear, I hate repeating myself, but you can. It is an option.
I hate asking it too because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I seem like incompetent. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so witchling. Oh, okay, so now, okay, you're like, hello, and
Do
I actually will be approaching a little bit.
do you need guidance?
I don't think so. It seems like you might need some guidance. How did you get here, sir? Who are you?
I wayfare no longer.
A wayfarer. I don't know what you mean.
You can go north. He points his spear towards a potential path,
Okay.
or west. And he points to the western path, and he says, or home. And he points towards the where the tree is, where your mother stands or stays, and
Um,
yourself, right?
what's north or west?
The outer gates lie at the end of the paths. I guard this intersection and serve the witchlings if needed.
Have you encountered a lot of witchlings?
No, it's been 100 years since the last.
Um, um, oh God. Okay. So is this where can I pause?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
this is
So
a
I'm gonna
moment you can
pause.
player pause if you want.
Okay. Because I'm like,
Absorbing.
because I'm not really sure. Yeah. Because I'm like, okay. I'm a 6-year-old girl here. Okay. I got to keep that in mind. So like, if I was maybe an adult, I maybe probably would try to investigate north or west. But I mean, I don't know, even though my mom's like obviously like kind of crazy, like doing obviously horrible things to me, she is like still my mom. And I only know the life of the Glades. So I probably have, like, it's just, well, again, she's my mom and I don't know anything else. So, like, yeah, I could go north or west, but he's not really clarifying what north or west is. It's just like somewhere just for the witchlings. And it hasn't been a long time. So,
Your mother does encourage you to explore and grow. She pushes you to master your
okay.
ethereal core and your
Okay, so it's not abnormal for me, even as a 6-year-old like little girl, to literally just go off of these woods and go down a path
well,
and just like
it could be normal, right? But you
okay,
are a fearful young girl at the moment.
yes, okay, that's
You're
what I would.
scared of your own power. You would be considering yourself already a failure as a witch, presumably. at least
Okay.
in comparison to how your mother wishes you to be.
Yeah, no, I would think that as well,
Mhm.
100%. Because I bet you I probably would feel some ways about it, and I couldn't understand like
But
why. Like,
but I'm sorry,
yeah.
I just wanted to take this moment to. Do you see what I'm saying by like I can feed you a lot of information once we spawn? This is what I'm talking about.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes, I do get this.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So, okay, so yeah, so she's like, if you could go, would you go north or would you go west?
In my time, the lands were still bright. This land is dark. I fear that I no longer know what is outside. I fear only death awaits you.
She, she definitely, I was definitely take a step back and like raise an eyebrow, and be like, okay, look, you just got real like cynical real quick. Like, um,
As far as you know, yeah, there doesn't exist light in the way that some people will talk about it.
yeah,
Mhm.
okay,
Some people talk about it like it's some kind of like power, something holy that protects them. You've seen some villagers attempt to like pray away their troubles from spirit as she blows them apart.
oh, makes sense. Okay,
Like, dear God, please protect me.
yep, yep, love that. It's my favorite. Um, okay, do I know if I've ever gone in the direction north or west with my mother before?
She primarily brings you to the east. It's supposedly a more civilized land.
Okay, okay. So this is definitely uncharted territory. And I don't have anything, right? Like I don't like I have my own I do have some witch powers, right?
Yeah, you primarily have been training with your core at the moment, and she's been attempting to train you to unleash your power throughout the world. So no necessarily any kind of like combat training yet. Just
Okay.
general like usage training. She is training you to at the moment by default to physical cast as it is her primary it's like her favored one, and at the moment you're such an underdeveloped student, she's basically forcing you down it.
Do I have enough knowledge that if I was out on my own, I could practice it by
100%, yeah,
myself?
feel free. Remember, this is an RP game, so like if you want to try to find out what you can do at 6, feel free.
Well, right. Like I might want to dabble a little bit, but I don't want to do so much that I die at 6 already.
Well,
Like, not
you
for
know it
my
won't
mom.
matter.
Right, exactly. So,
No,
yeah, so
100%. Your character at the moment is fearful, right? So if you play or command your character to train, it's going to naturally make your character more comfortable with magic. So it's a good thing that you do that.
yeah,
Mhm.
which that's kind of what I would think. Even though she is scared, she isn't like
Yeah, she
but
receives that confidence from you directly controlling her. Because remember, you're, and this is something I haven't actually touched on. Well, we have a little bit, but it hasn't been clarified that your character is actually a champion that's being controlled, and you're like influencing it
mm,
more so.
okay, so even though I'm given this base doesn't mean I necessarily have to confide to it 100%.
Well, yeah,
Unless it's like
you're like
totally
do this, do this, do this, and your character's like fine.
okay.
Yeah.
Do it. Like what then and everything. Say my name. Say my name. Okay. 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 Cool. So okay. Yeah. So Mimi. All right. All right. Okay. All right. I'm gonna resume.
Mhm.
And
Feel free to set
yeah.
your own scenes, by the way. If you want to transition from this place to another place that's more suited for what you're about to RP, I think that's a very good thing to do. Most
So like
players don't do it for some reason.
so
You could be
if
like, I'm now in a training ground. It's a flat ground, right? Maybe it has some witchly artifacts around. You can do that kind of thing.
I don't necessarily have to be like I have to choose like north or west. I can be like fuck this tree guy and go do something else.
Right. Mhm.
Oh,
And then so you can suggest a place, and then I'll create it around you if it exists,
I
or
see.
I'll find a suitable replacement anyway. So
Well,
is
yeah.
your intent to go to a training ground, right?
I don't know if she'd do like I guess yeah, her own private training ground. I don't think she would like to train with maybe other people or out so much. Like I think she
There
found
are
like
no
a
other people. You are the only disciple.
oh, we are the only like well, I wasn't sure if like in us in the glade there was like other people
Just
who
your
lived
mother.
in the
Well,
glade.
your mother and her aberrations, like the tree man.
Oh, okay. So the whole place is my secret little playground, basically.
Yeah,
Okay,
there
okay,
are some servant class aberrations that are able to move more freely, but they're still like horrifically maimed or like transformed in some manner.
okay. Aberration, okay. All right. So yeah, no, I would go to like some little like training ground that I have set up for myself.
Okay, so you go to what is known as a ritual ground. It's a very flat surfaced area, presumably really well made, and it's considered extremely neutral, uh, which is to say that it has no influence whatsoever of anything within all realms in this
Okay.
spot.
Yep. Okay.
And that matters a lot for what's called ritualing, right? Ritual casting.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Um, so this is something that she teaches you about, but you haven't quite grasped. Um, but yeah, this is like a good place to train because everything is extremely easy here to do.
Okay.
So you
Um.
go to this ritual ground.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Are there like specific like trinkets and tools around that I
So
noticed?
your mother has shown you, and you can like go inside to find these things. But
Okay.
your mother has shown you a wand, a stave, presumably primarily. There's a bunch of them with different kinds of stones and what's called
Okay.
implement stones. There we go. So essence, this is with the this realm that I'm teaching you now is called enchanting. By the way,
Okay. Yeah.
all forms of knowledge that you will be learning is considered realms.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so what your core is, you would come to learn, is considered an arcane realm. She values it
Oh.
extremely highly.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but your so enchanting, the enchanting realm is going to be covering any kind of craftsman thing that you might want to learn. That includes
Okay.
tailoring, right, blacksmithing, anything like that. That's within the enchanting realm, and also anything that you would use to make implements. And implements are wands, staves, anything that you use to cast magic from.
Okay. Okay.
And by the way,
Um.
we don't use magic or ethereal. We use realm knowledge or sorcery is how we refer to these things.
Okay. So realm. What? Sorry. Sorcery and what?
Realm knowledge,
Okay.
that's
That's what
like
I thought.
your mathematics, right? All of that
Okay.
falls under realm. And then and then all of your castings are considered sorcery.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, she's shown you some implements, some like ones that she has around that technically you could use, but it is intended for you to create your own implements. She's just using these as like stand-in, like this is what you're trying to do.
Okay. Okay. Um.
So while you can go look at them, you're not allowed to have them.
Right. Can I like? Do I have the resources in the glade to go make my own?
Yes, and she has tried many a times to teach you, but you have been too afraid to enter into the forests to find your branches or your excellent pieces of like unrefined iron out in the woods to use for blacksmithing. She gives
Yeah.
you availability to all of her professional like placements, and she has servants that will do it if you don't wish to learn the skill, but still need something made.
Okay. I'm gonna feel inspired by like the tree and just like new options and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna then ask see one of the apparitions to come with me at least. Like, so I'm not necessarily alone,
Okay,
but
so
to just like
you walk up on one of the random aberrations.
okay.
The thing is like made of seaweed for the most part, right? Like it's like wet at all times. And the damn thing is like drooling or like
Are
dripping or like
do I
melting almost.
previously do I use them as like playmates previously, or do I not interact with them normally at all?
I think you've been too busy getting absolute fucking ass handed to you to make friends.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you want to
You're
say
friends with the
otherwise, yeah, feel free.
but I mean, I guess that makes sense from everything you said I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
So,
No,
but I
no,
feel
but you get
like
what I'm saying, right? Like if you want to give that as a command that like I've been making friends with aberrations, feel free to make that command. But that's
I
not
would like to
what's
make that
happening.
command. I feel like that would be something she would 110% do, especially if she's no one and her mom's just doing horrible things. Like, what else does she have? She's,
All right,
um,
yeah, fair. She might have a more
yeah,
positive outlook. Okay, so
yeah.
you come to learn that the aberrations are they were people at some point, like full fledged human adults,
Okay.
that wronged her or didn't make a deal or just generally tried to do something conniving, and so she
Do you
punishes them for life, an eternity, in
okay,
memoriam.
okay, does like my person act like character actually know this, or is this
Yeah,
what?
yeah, no, this is what you end up learning. So
Okay,
so
okay,
like
okay. That's so
so
deep.
like
Okay.
because of that, their ability to remember things is kind of similar to your mother's. And your mother is able to hold a lots of information, but she's constantly having to like relearn things because she doesn't like she thinks that she knows something or knew something, right? But doesn't remember exactly what it is and wants to relearn it or like re-grasp it. So she's
Okay.
constantly having to fiddle through her old like grimoires and notes, right? Trying to
Hmm.
figure out how to do something that she knows how to do, but like doesn't remember exactly how to do it. Well, these
Right.
guys are on steroids because they're fucked. They don't have her massive intelligence. They can't even remember their names. They can't remember who was in their family lines. They don't remember shit really. So they only remember what they do and then like vaguely who you are if you show up daily for like a year. Do you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay.
But
So
you know for a fact that when you're done with your witch training and you leave, these people will forget you within the year.
okay, I think she's like, okay, that's fine. And I think she's totally okay with that because like she's just like she just needs something to
Okay.
like something else to like kind of just like talk
But
to or
presumably
just
you're not making many friends because that would be
no. They're not
irresponsible.
friends. They're just, I guess, more like just something so she literally doesn't go crazy for being alone and just
Mm-hmm.
being like a little girl who's going through so much. So,
All
for
right.
like
So we'll actually make one your companion then, if that sounds good for you.
so like I end up taking it with me outside of the glade.
We're gonna presume that you're gonna try to steal it at some point.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Okay. Is it? If this is like breaking too much and I can't, you can just tell me I can't know this answer right now. That's fine. But like, is there? Can I like
No,
figure out a
you
way to
no.
cure them?
What I'm saying, yeah, what I'm saying to you is that you can fail. So like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you could lose this companion because you don't know how to make it escape later on. But that's not a now
Okay,
worry, right? It's a later worry.
that is a later worry.
Yeah.
But okay, okay. Which like, okay,
Are you okay with me making an aberration your companion?
yeah, let's do it. I feel
Okay.
like that could be fun. We'll try to figure it out. Okay.
All right. So give me a
Um.
second because it's not the one I just described. Then I have to redesign it.
Okay. Okay. And then yeah, then this would be the one I would approach to have go
Mm-hmm.
out because I'm gonna want to try to make an implement.
All right. It's not as aggressive was what you gave me, right?
Yes, which would make sense for an apparition.
Yes. So, which kind of implements are you looking forward to at the moment? Do you know?
I think she would prefer something like a darker like wood that's like very fine and like she'll like somehow like polish it and sand it like down so it's really nice and she would look for like actually try to find like a gem somewhere inside like or maybe like find like a geode
Okay.
that she could use.
But wood is the primary element of the
Oh, do
instrument.
I get to do oh I that's like you get to choose what you want that to be. It doesn't like choose itself per se or like you don't channel something that like you I get to roll something for.
I'm not quite following you. You can make technically you could be like a full plate wearing like swordsman witch if you wanted, but like it doesn't mean that it's going to be a good idea.
Okay,
You follow
yeah,
me? Yeah.
no. Oh, okay, no. I definitely think I would be looking for something like,
Okay, so it sounds like we're
yeah, like
going
a
kind of a
staff. Like,
traditional wood. Yeah. All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So all right. So your
Stay.
companion's name is Bark. Um, he's like a more or less a complete wooded humanoid. Um, and he has no like blood. Instead, he has sap. And he can die. Right, unlike the others. This one is basically cursed to like fear for his own life. He actually is banished from the grove, so he has to stay in the outskirts. Um, or from the glade, right? So he has to stay in the outskirts. But he's
Okay.
too afraid of leaving the actual grove because he's afraid that people will set him on fire.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Like, that's a valid. Okay.
He's aware that aberrations like him don't survive too long when they leave. But he's a pretty good woodsman and generally loves the forests. Um, So because of that, he actually has a pretty easy time living out in the outskirts.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so you go to meet him out in the woods,
Mm-hmm.
and sorry, making a note real quick before I forget to. Okay. But yeah, you would meet him out in the woods. Feel free to have your first encounter. Do you want to see how you met him, or are we okay with saying that we've established this friendship?
I think we can say we already established this friendship, but I do have like, do I know why, like what he specifically did that he wronged my mother of to
It's
be turned?
common for a lot of the aberrations to no longer remember.
Okay, but
Okay, this is a good time to use luck, for example. Okay, so I'll introduce luck because I need everyone to know about luck because not
okay,
enough people use it. So before you ask that question, the answer was unknown, correct?
right.
He could have known it. He could not have known it. This is a perfect time to use luck. So long as you don't ask the question and you say, "I wish to use luck to for him to have the knowledge of why he was cursed," you could roll luck and then have a better chance at him remembering.
Okay, is there a limit to like how much I could do a luck check or something like that?
Okay, so yeah, so the way that you understand if you have enough luck to be wasting it, because this is presumably like a wasteful action, right?
Right.
Um, is by how well your game is going. So like if you feel like everything's been going smooth, probably an okay time to use luck. If you feel like things are like extraordinary, definitely a good time to be using luck. If you feel like you've been down on your luck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not using luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the way.
So
That's the better way to tell.
okay, so like right now, like if I use it, it just if anything I could just gain and then it wouldn't be a disadvantage to me to if I did use it.
Well, so if you notice that things start going bad for you all of a sudden, and it doesn't feel like anything you've been doing, it's
Mm.
probably your luck.
Oh, okay, I get it. Cause I've you okay, okay. Can you accumulate like more
Oh
after
yeah,
you
there's
use
tons of
it?
ways to
Okay,
do that.
okay. It's
Mhm.
like PTO time. Like I used up some of it, I don't really have as much anymore. So okay, okay, but I could get more. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, okay, okay, okay. Oh, and of course I have no idea how much
Yeah,
luck I have. So like um
but things have been going pretty nice for you for the most part,
they
right?
have.
Mhm.
So honestly I do because I feel like that would be super helpful information, especially if I need to figure out how to
Can't do
get
it
him
here though.
out. What?
Can't do it here though. Like I said,
Oh.
once it's been established, you can no longer use it. That's part of the deal.
Oh, okay, okay.
Mhm.
Even though I don't know, okay, but now that okay, okay. But good to know. I would like to know that though. I'll try to figure out some other way to figure out that information. So right now, so no, we don't know.
Right.
It's not like I can't find out from my mom. Could I ask her?
Well, remember, she also suffers from a similar issue.
That's true. That's
Mhm.
true.
So you don't think that she would remember something as trivial as whatever the fuck he did.
Yeah, right. Because yeah, because who knows how long ago that was too.
Right.
Okay, okay.
And she's
Okay.
done it presumably to hundreds of thousands of people because she's, infinitely living, beginning a time
Yes,
which.
yes. And who do I how many do we is there a number to how many aberrations there are? Do I know? Or do
There's
we
a
know?
there's a you I mean even at a young age you know that there's at least like 100 at least.
Okay, at least. Okay,
Yeah.
at least. Okay, good to know. Okay. Because I was wondering, do we like just like rid of some because of overcrowding or something? Like I don't know. Like, is there
You
a cycle?
yeah, I mean there's like crowds of them kind of that like commune on some level. You've seen like actually I'll go through this description too. So one time you and Bark were traveling through like the denser part of the forest and you saw this like wall of webs which he warned you not to go into, right? And so
Yeah.
you avoided that wall of webs and then you ended up in this like kind of like fuck what do I want to call that? You end up in this like pit, yeah, like a pit like, but a large pit, right? More like almost like a mining pit. Um,
Okay.
and in the bottom of this mining pit sat like a pool of water, and there was a ton of aberrations that were similarly afflicted to Bark. And he tells you that
Oh.
this is what happens to aberrations when they like forget who they are so fundamentally that they essentially like turn to stone. Like they become part of the environment. And you see that they've communed together in like a semicircle around this pond, and they're just sustaining themselves with this pond water. And that's their life now. They no longer think, they just exist like this. So when you approach them, right, you can get them to like respond to your physical touch and like shiver or like move away unconsciously a little bit, but they don't really exist anymore.
Okay, do these aberrations, even though they don't technically exist, do they still have like essences or powers per se of their previous self still lingering?
So one of the fundamental lessons that Spirit teaches, or Nihilus teaches, is that is that there technically exists like an overarching kind of ethereal realm. This ethereal realm channels power from the plane of existence, so like the primary plane, which is the plane that you exist in, right? Okay. And funnels power out through the ethereal. So technically speaking, everything in the physical realm is on some level like how to describe this? It's like on some level the power exists here and it's going there. So in that way, you can argue that everything in this realm has magic.
Okay, because like there's always kind of like technically like an open door per se to the other side that you can pull from.
That's exactly what some Sarens do. Yeah, some Sarens will cast their core power into the ethereal and return a new power. But that's not a witch practice.
Okay, well, because I guess if with you telling me this, I almost kind of think maybe she would want to go there and try to like harness some of those forgotten aberrations into like a one essence like power source and use that.
I'm not you might have to try that again. I'm not quite
understanding
what you're doing.
Like I don't know either. Like so like because I'm thinking like, okay, if these were aberrations of people, they had skills and like abilities and maybe like something, but I don't know all the magic. I don't know how the magic works in this.
And neither does your character, just by the way.
So okay, so yeah, so that's why I'm like, I don't know if she could like if she knows or has like skills or channeling
Feel free
things.
To try stuff. Remember, like role play through the action. See if you can come about it, whatever your goal may be.
Okay. So maybe I will approach it like that. I guess I'm just trying to understand more what those have. But now thinking about it more,
your character does have a lot of learningness from Spirit. So like as you know, you ask questions, I can answer it if you've had a lesson on it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
With like the ethereal realm and all that, right?
Right. Okay.
Which is all known as it's all under the realm of enchanting again, presumably. It could technically be a part of another realm, like Realm of Realms, if you wanted it to, but that depends on your character's focus.
Okay. All right.
So at some point, you're going to want to establish your realms, as I'm sure you've noticed.
Yes. Which I think she's still learning too much. I think we'll figure that out maybe when she gets a little older. But I think right now I'm trying to establish like a little token or something.
To be clear, you're supposed to be a full-fledged mage by the time you're 14. Did I say mage? Sorry, witch. I may be being tired.
Okay. Noted. So yeah, I think this is where she'll like actually find like the thing that maybe she like takes with her forever and uses for like a lot of things that I don't know sources most of her power because I guess maybe she trains with it the most.
Say again, sorry.
I'm trying to like establish for her to create something if I'm understanding like implements like like the wand like like create a staff that like she's gonna basically use like throughout her travels and it's gonna like hold a lot of power.
Are you suggesting that you're gonna take apart these aberrations for an implement?
Yes. Yes, that's what I was trying to ask originally.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah, because like what if that like have them in this staff like that like
shit. How would Bark? I guess Bark. I mean, he's your companion, so he has to be okay with it. He'd probably like wince at your actions, but you're like coming at it and like trying to take this thing apart. He ultimately helps you.
Yeah, because like
I reward you by the way, SS fucking Wicked, SS Wicked, right?
Nice.
And
Okay.
SS Enchanter as well.
Oh, okay, awesome, awesome. Yeah, because I was like, well, because there's these souls that are forgotten, and they're not even a physical almost a physical aberration anymore. They're just like rotting in this pool, and I'm like, well,
They're
maybe
not
I
rotting.
could give.
Keep in mind, they're not rotting.
Oh, rotting. Okay,
That
but like,
implies a degradation of quality. This is actually technically a superior quality. It's considered living wood.
okay, 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 cool. So like, I guess so, but they'll like, even though they're just stagnant, so it's like giving them a second chance or a new
You're
life per
repurposing
se.
them. This is very
Yeah.
witchly what you're doing. Very, very
Yes,
witchly.
exactly. Yes, exactly.
Your mother would love that you're doing that.
Okay, but yes, so this is what Bark and I will be doing, and
Okay, so what are you making?
I would
First.
say a staff, but like you know what? No, well, yes, because even though it's going to be like short right now, I think over time
Oh
when
no,
she
this
gets
is going to be
older,
your first save. You're going to make many saves, presuming that you're
oh,
going through the
okay.
enchanting route.
I think it would be kind of cool though. She had the one, and then she just build it on top of it, and then you could see the additions throughout her years of her moments of life, of her growth and her power through the additions that she added to her staff. But
We could try to go down that route, but you actually have to. So okay, remember how we said that crafting is highly complicated?
yes,
Okay, so you'd actually have to do it. Are you are you willing to do that bit?
like willing to like have her like
Be a
physically like
crafter. So
yeah.
so some people have like what I would say like an agreement between me and them, right? Where it's like we
Okay.
agree that they're never going to be a good like the best craftsman, but they can just say what they're doing, and then I give them like an average result. Do you understand what
Okay.
I'm saying? And then there's the
Okay.
players who really get down and gritty with crafting, and then they actually have to learn how to design everything. And
Okay.
that
So
system exists, and it's very robust, but it requires a shit ton of
okay.
memorization and note taking
I
and stuff.
guess I maybe my thought behind this too is that because I have Bark with me,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Bark would be able to
Bark would not
do.
be doing any kind of enchanting. That would be on your end.
Okay, you're right, because that would be enchanting. That wouldn't just be simple like woodworking or
Yeah,
whatever. You're right. You're right.
he would yeah, you can make him responsible for the actual woodworking bit. So your character can save herself that
And then
intellect
I could
cost.
enchant it after, but like that. Okay, okay, I get
During
that.
the woodworking process, you would be enchanting.
Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I feel like see with the
This is
witch.
like a conjoined profession to create a stave. You get what I'm
Okay,
saying?
see, yeah, because I don't know if I'm ready to do the whole crafting thing, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with what my character is and maybe what I kind of already like preconceive, if I even get that far, is like there's going to be a lot of maybe more like there's going to be alchemy involved as well. Which that's another crafting thing. So that
Mm-hmm.
would mean I would have to do that as well, right?
Again, yeah, if you want the best possible of coming out of enchanting and alchemy, right? You're gonna
Yeah.
want to be a more dived in craftsman. If you're
Okay.
okay with having like average results, but like usable results, obviously, but average results, feel free to just like kind of be a you mean more
I
of a
just
champion, less of a
okay.
crafter. But if you want the best results, you definitely want to be a crafter. So like you're right now you're designing a fairly complicated thing. So like
Right.
you're gonna get average results out of it in the sense that like maybe you can't even complete it because it's so complicated and convoluted what
Right.
you're designing.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. What you're right. Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
especially because I'm like six. I mean, hopefully I'm
Well,
more
that part doesn't
advanced than
matter. Don't
most.
think about that part.
Like, okay. Um. So like, it's like I don't know because I don't think I really want it, but I do want. I think I like the idea of her being a super good like craftsman in that aspect too.
Mm-hmm.
Like her power is so deadly like secretly. Like she doesn't need to be as robust like her mother is with her power. She's just like very much more silent, which I would think would be like with more alchemy or certain like just weapons and trinkets. But I also feel like I would get bored with that personally role playing. So that's where I'm conflicted. Um
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you want to be a craftsman character, uh, yeah, it has to be fully consuming. Like you love that, or there's no point in doing it.
Okay, so yeah, we're not okay, so we're not gonna do that then.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just I guess I'm okay with just being the average.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, so a little bit less complicated of a stave then. Like I said, so the standard for people who don't want to be craftsman characters is that you're generally speaking. I mean, even when you're a craftsman character, you're generally speaking going to be outputting a lot of new staves, and then you're going to have favorites, and then you're going to have ones that you don't like.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
So we're just going to do that the standard approach, right?
Yes.
Where you're
Okay.
not really designing them, you're just getting them. So like you say, I make a new stave, and then I give you a new stave.
Yes. Okay. It was okay. Yes, I like that. That's perfect.
All right, so your
Maybe
first stave is known as the thorny glaive stave.
okay, so I was successful.
Yeah, you create a living wood stave with a very like briary appearance to it, in the sense that it's like a large wooded vine in its appearance, with a gnarled like twist on the end of it, and it's a simple implement, is what it's considered.
Okay.
And it's meant to transfer your power, not actually. It doesn't generate any of its own. So
Okay.
you're yeah, we'll leave it at that for now, because you have to actually explore your own
Yeah.
powers, right?
Yeah. What are my own powers? That's
Mhm.
the question. But we got, like you said, got to figure that out.
Mhm.
So,
But that is your stave. You've made
how?
one. Congratulations.
Thank you. How tall is Bark?
Bark is quite tall. He's 8 foot.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was wondering. Okay, so I'm gonna like with my staff in my one hand and then my arm, I'm gonna just like wrap my arm around Bark's leg and just give him a little hug. Like, thank you for helping me.
um, yeah, he says, my pleasure, little witchling. By the way, have you come up with a name? Because he would
Oh,
definitely call you by your name, but we're gonna call you witchling until you come up with one.
I'm really bad at that, and I kind of
Oh, I
hate
can
doing
give you
that.
defaults. It's okay.
Okay, yeah. Please give me a default because I really, as long as it's like, yeah, not too complicated to pronounce all the time.
Well, feel free to create a nickname. All right, your mother would probably name you Ilaria Nam.
Ilarianon.
Oh, I
Can you
like that better actually. Ilaria Nan. Yeah, we'll change the M to an N. Ilaria
okay,
Nan.
can you type that for me too? In
Oh, it's your Discord thing now.
oh, it is. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
perfect. That makes it much better. Okay. Ilaria.
Not complicated long name gives her uber complicated long name.
Nihilus is also a long, complicated name.
Ilarianon? That is not super long and complicated.
Yeah,
I I like
not
short names.
not too elaborate, but it's definitely
I don't
elaborate.
like it too. I mean, literally, it could either if I want. I don't really like non, but like literally, I could if I want to. Some people could call her L
Yeah.
a lot, but I really don't like. I mean, my name's obviously a nickname, but there's like a big there's a reason for that. I just don't think Samantha fits me. That's really at the end of the day. But like Ilaria, I think that's pretty. Maybe I want to have people call her Ilaria non all the time. I think Ilaria would just be her nickname.
Okay. So make sure you denote Ilarianon somewhere. That's your
Okay.
real
Yes.
name, and true
Yes.
names matter a lot. You come to learn.
Yes. Okay. Especially, I mean, and a lot of like, especially with like demons and stuff, like true names really matter when it comes to demons.
That's
So,
yeah, that's true.
yeah.
I'll give you demon knowledge SS
Woo!
for
Yeah.
randomly knowing that that's important.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, I like paranormal stuff and and it said that if you know a demon's true name, that is the only way you can actually truly abolish them. They have these like fake Bible names, but if you actually know their true name, that's like the way to like truly exercise them.
Yes.
Whatever.
So there's a whole realm of study that your mother is quite familiar with, which is a part of the realm demonology, of which
Okay,
she
yep.
has such names.
Okay. Ooh, ooh, yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I want.
You're not allowed to touch her book though.
I was gonna say, do I have access to that? I
No.
figured I probably did it. That's probably a really
But
important
you
book
are
that
aware
she.
that she has it, yeah. So
Okay,
it's
okay.
assumed that
How,
all witches should have realms of knowledge that include demonology.
so we got my true name. All right. Thanks. So now I so I really I guess this is the part where I don't know where to like start because I'm not sure what I have, but since I have this stat, I would want to try to use my own power, whatever that would be. So
Do you
um
continue? So okay, so I'm going to tell you the casting forms now, right?
okay.
All right. So The stave can be used in all of these forms in some way.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so the 3 primary casting forms are as follows. There is
Okay.
incantation, which is to speak power, right?
Okay.
There's physical physical spell casting, which is to use your body and force, like physical force, into your casting. And then there's inscription casting, which is to be able to take any kind of written format or like say sculpted format, anything like that, right? And cast power from them instead. So, um,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
so traditionally speaking, your mother trains in physical and then incantation, though she obviously is skilled in all 3.
Okay.
But she
Okay.
prefers that her witches train in physical followed by incantation.
And so, can you like give me an example of like the physical one? So, is that like, like I like tried to like telepathically or use some like air force to like lift a rock and throw it like forever, or like or do I enhance
Okay,
myself and give
so
myself the strength to pick up the rock and throw it?
there's disregarding what you just said because it's a little confusing. I will
Okay.
give you an example. So if you are physically able to pick up a rock, right? Um, that is now your measure of strength as far as picking up the rock, right? We can agree, like your physical strength is
Yes.
picking up.
Yes.
Okay, you cannot cast a like fireball harder than you can throw that rock, which is basically not at all.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Right? So you're limited by your physical prowess 100% by doing physical spell casting. But as you grow into age, you will become dramatically more efficient at throwing your power in quotes, and
Okay.
and um, and eventually you're going to be quite lethal. So you have to train it, right? All of these things, by the way, the reason why we're saying that you should pick one or the other, while you can, if you live to be the ripe old age of 10 million or whatever, you you can learn all of these and have enough time to train all of these. However, for a grand majority of your life, you're going to be very limited in which ones are going to be effective enough to get done what you need to get done.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
So it's
So,
better that you pick and focus earlier on.
oh, okay. Ooh, I feel like I think I might want to do incantation is the one I'd focus on
Mhm.
the
Okay.
most.
So so you can do them through power words or any other kind of like noise, right?
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
which do you think you would be focused on? Is there like a
I,
way that you're imagining incanting?
um, like, and I'm kind of like I have like a little mix of it between like kind of mixing a lot of references in a way. So I've been mixed between like Skyrim and like Dovahkiin kind of thing, but then also I'm kind of mixing it like with like World of Warcraft and the power words, whereas they wouldn't really necessarily speak it, but theoretically in the game they would speak it and the ability would just go off. And then also, or like the one guy from Jujutsu Kaisen Gojo, or not Gojo, what's his name? And the guy who hides his mouth because then when he
Mhm.
speaks,
All of these could be considered incantations, yes.
yes. So that's kind of like, so I don't really necessarily expect her to be like shouting things necessarily. Like, so that kind of would be like, so I don't like, but I would expect her to just to be able to like just literally speak it and then the person would literally do it. Kind of like how it is in Jujutsu Kaisen. Well, I guess not necessarily look, but I guess how it is. Cause I mean, I'm not necessarily that she has to hide her mouth, but like, how the ability works per se. Like, and he just speaks it. He doesn't necessarily have to yell it. I
Okay,
don't
so
know.
yeah, so the tone of which you cast regularly is important,
Okay.
right?
Yes. Okay.
So if
Okay.
you were like boastfully yelling, you would get a lot more power generation, as you can imagine.
Okay.
But if you're like
Okay.
whisper talking, which I think is more similar to what that guy's doing in that
Yes.
show, um,
It's
then
not
you have a lot less power generation.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if you're being subtle, right, you're gonna have a lot less power, but you're gonna gain subtlety.
Right. Okay. 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 Got it. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
So it is good that you're making this acknowledgement of a kind of cast. The middle
Yeah.
grounds obviously is speaking in a normal tone.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that's like,
There's other variations too, which your mother would introduce. Like, for example, you can actually, like, she would show you like a wind chime. You could actually cast based on the wind chimes interaction. Do you understand what I'm
right.
saying?
No.
So like she would wait for the wind to come and it would hit the chimes. And the chimes like erratic kind of almost random dings, she can learn to like cast through individual different the rings, right? For different casting methods. So she can create quite erratic and quite powerful iterations of her unique sorceries through the ringing. Now, the downside of that, obviously, while being extremely powerful in the sense that it's creating a lot of noise and it gains a lot of kind of like randomness, which you can use aptly for different kinds of sorceries, it's quite limiting in the sense that you don't have control over when it dings or how it dings.
Mm, okay. Okay. So essentially, she's using the sound to amplify or send
To
out the
control
power.
how the sorcery is activating, right, per design.
I see. I see. So like,
Mhm.
okay, and this
So
is
the
just so
benefit
if
of the
example, if there's like a train coming by and I know,
yeah,
and that sound of that train, and I know I could use an incantation on that sound, and that would
create quite a powerful sorcery.
powerful. So
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Okay. So okay. All right. I am understanding correctly. Okay. Cool.
Mhm. Now, again, it matters which like how you're doing it normally. So like you can understand that a wind chimes, while being a powerful kind of random generator version of your sorceries potentially, um, it would be quite limiting in the sense that you can't always use it.
Right. You just like, yeah, it's not always like if the wind's coming and it actually chimes the chimes and stuff. Yes, it has. It's like you can't rely on that. Oh, okay, all
Mhm.
the time because you might not, like you said, have it accessible to
So
you.
naturally, a lot of incanters will do it through speech because it's just way more convenient.
Yes,
But if you
that's
wanted
one.
to be a little bit more particular, you can try to figure out methods to do this, right, with other
Yeah.
objects or other
Okay.
things.
Is that the only other like? Because that's great. Yeah, because I would have never thought of that. But that's cool.
Mhm.
I think I would want to know like it's always good to have tricks up your sleeve,
Yeah,
but
feel free to
of course,
explore. She just gives you that as
r-
an example, right, to open your
right.
mind.
Okay, so yeah, I think that, but of course, I think yeah, she would practice with speech more than anything. But
Okay, we do settle with speech though.
yes,
Okay, and then which version, right? Loud, not normal, or quiet?
I think probably quiet.
Okay.
I could see her just going up to people's ears and just whispering things and just having them do
Oh,
things and just like disappearing, and
to be
then
clear, you imagine very specifically going close to the target.
yes,
Okay, so that's interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. It's okay. So your mother would advise you to keep your distance from your targets. Uh,
right,
she she believes in the power of the Saren being first and foremost from summoning great momentous power and surmounting all enemies with just basically like bathing them in flames, right?
right,
Um, so what you're doing is kind of the opposite of her teaching,
right,
which is that you're very controlled and you're almost implementing some kind of like rogue tech to where like you
yeah,
can like sneak in close, whisper a command, and then get out. Now, is that viable? Maybe, but it's definitely against her teaching. You understand?
yes, and I
Okay.
think that is what I think I would do as I would just because like something in me would just feel like even though I understand her teachings and that's what it should be, just as, from her doing the things that she did to me, I couldn't I can't like do those. Like I wouldn't want to actively want to do those to other people, even if they would wrong me. Like it's something about it, just knowing how horrible it was for me. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So
Okay.
I think I would want to go against her, even though I'm gonna like use up her teachings and I'm not gonna like be rebellious against her by any means. But I think I would when it comes to time for me to practice it,
Mm-hmm.
my methods are going to be yes,
Okay.
completely opposite of hers.
So as you grow, you come to learn that the natural elements are actually quite supported by incantation, which means that your stave is well suited for your form of sorcery, right?
Okay.
You come to understand that when you speak power, you're speaking intention. So it's like your
Yes. Okay.
sorcery requires less mathematics and more when you're casting intentionality to it.
Okay.
The
Like, yeah.
language of what you're speaking matters heavily as well. So
Oh,
your
okay.
your character would have been learning some natural languages from the area, just from her like trips and what your mother would randomly switch up languages every now and again, right?
Mhm.
So you get to choose like which languages you care about the most, um, which is a little hard because you don't know yet.
Right.
But you can tell me if you care to be a linguist, and we can sit with that. And then when you have a language you know you want to learn, we'll say that you have it.
Okay.
Do you
Yes,
do
I
you want
think
to be a
yes.
linguist?
I think that yes, especially as being an incanter with speaking and like yes, I think that would be very beneficial.
Okay, so we know we can assume that you know three. Would you want six?
Would there be a reason not to know six? I
It's
mean, I would
it's a
say yeah.
draw. It's a draw on your intellect. You can only know so many things. So like if you really
Uh,
value being a linguist, then this is a big move towards it, right?
right.
Mhm.
But then I may be sacrificing some of my
Future
intellect
skills.
skills. But I do have greater intellect, right?
Yes, you are
So
boosted. Mhm.
so how much extra greater intellect
You
does
don't
that
know.
give
Can't
me?
tell you.
Can fire tell me?
Yeah, I don't think he knows, but feel free.
Oh, okay. Oh, dang. Okay.
Let me use the restroom.
What's the particular question?
So with my greater intellect, do you think me learning six languages would be worth it, or do you think I should only learn three?
Learning. I have never traveled so far that I felt like I needed more than three languages.
Okay, so all right.
In the Shadowlands, everyone pretty much speaks the same language. Now, there's
Okay.
different languages in the border territories, but I, for day-to-day usage, six languages is really, really specialized. And
And with me starting in the Shadowlands too.
if you said you were going to do six languages, I would ask you, like, are you going to study Celestials or something? Because, like, what are you using the extra languages
Well, no,
for?
even like more than that. No, so there's what Fire is saying, right? But the actual practical side, just to understand, there's like a bunch of hidden decisions within decisions, if you will. Being
Yes.
a linguist implies that you're good at studying languages. So the more you're gonna do at a young age, it's assumed then that you're like this is something you like, you're interested in. Your character can pick up a new language fairly quickly. Do you see what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay. So
So it's not
okay.
just about the languages you spawn with, it's more about how fast you can adapt to a new language when you find one.
Okay. So but if so then I guess if I choose the three, can I still be that and like adapt quickly to the or no, do I have to choose the
Presumably
six?
not, right? Presumably you're going to be a lot less effective than someone who knew like a
You
step
did cut
above. Yeah.
okay, okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And the reason, well, I guess that's a good. I guess, but the answer to the question, what I would be using it for, well, like for my power, technically, I would want to be able to manipulate, or not necessarily manipulate, or be able to use my power on anyone. And if maybe I don't speak their language, then like I'm screwed. Like, or like they
Oh, that's it. See, that's a good one. I'm gonna give you uh hmm, hmm, prediction SS for that.
okay, because that's why I'm like, because like if well, what's the point of having that power if I speak it and whisper and they just look at me and be like, "What the fuck you just say?" and they didn't understand? I'd be like, "I'm
Yes,
dead."
if you intend to influence others, and you can do this testing through Bark, they must understand you. The intention of your sorcery goes through, but their ability to
There's,
resist
there's
increases dramatically when they do not understand you.
that makes sense because, like,
Mhm.
yeah, if you don't understand what the fuck someone's saying to you, how are you going to react? But again, if there's the intention, I'm super strong enough, it might still go through just because of.
Yes.
But the effectiveness, it would be again much better if I knew it because then it's going to guarantee almost do what it needs to do and more.
And there are since we can agree that you've at least done 3, right, at the moment.
Yes,
Okay.
a guaranteed 3.
You do know that different languages create different thresholds of consumption and power of the sorceries.
Different. So what? So different What do you mean by that?
So your core only has so much essence.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so some languages during some of your sorceries, right, can change up the costs and strength based entirely on the language you're speaking.
Okay. And then your essence, does that like recharges it like mana in a way?
Yeah, essence and
Okay.
mana are interchangeable, but we
Okay.
refer to it in this world as
It's
essence.
essence. Okay, cool. Just so yeah. I just like to have like something I do know what
No,
it already
100%.
is
Yes,
only to
100%.
help. But yes, I will refer it to as essence. Perfect. Okay, um so I think yeah, I want to know 6. I want to go with 6.
Okay, now let me ask you again. Would you like to bump it up again and know 9?
No.
Are we sure? Because it sounds like we understand the usefulness of this.
I
I
Yes,
I
but I
think
also don't understand. Well, how many can do I know how can I ask you how many languages there are? Now, yeah, I don't even like in total. Like, are there 20? Is there 50? Like,
well, there's a lot, but that's not really the point, right? Like I said, you don't have to assign these right away. You can be like, I want to know that one, and then we know it now.
oh, okay. So I just know that I can choose up to 6 languages and no, and like, but I want to choose them right now. But like, when I
Yeah.
want to, I can choose. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll probably give you
I just want to make sure this
a
isn't like
couple just
cheating.
to have, but yeah, what?
Okay, yeah, that would be fair just to start off. But like, so it wouldn't it be cheating if I'm in a scenario and I start noticing that this is how people are speaking, and then I'm like, hey, Michelle, I
Well,
want to know how to speak this now.
Well, yeah, I'd probably punish you if you did that too many times in a row. But it's supposed to be more of like I'm going through the world. I've learned about like let's say ghouls, and I really am interested in ghoul lore. It's like Michelle, I wanna know what
Ghouls are
ghouls
saying.
saying. But yeah,
Okay.
because I probably would have been interested in this as a child, and I just now realized.
Okay.
Right, that's kind of the deal. Is that
Okay.
you've gone through this witch training,
Yes.
and there's a lot to cover, and I don't want to flood you with information. So Nihilus is presumably teaching you about all kinds of demons, but it's
Right.
presumed forgotten because there's so much information. You don't necessarily need everything, nor were you interested in
No.
everything.
No, exactly. But
Mhm.
I like to just because like some of these like seem like really like big like commands or commitments. So I don't want to say something and get something and then I'm like, oh my god, I should have said that when I was 6. Like, but
Right, that's kind of what I'm
um,
saying. Is as soon as
yeah,
you know that it's something you want to be interested in and you want the
I knew.
language of it, you should choose it then.
Choose it then.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
perfect. So, all right. So, knowing that there's a lot, 6.
And I'm saying that because I think you understand its usefulness, but you don't necessarily understand like your stats, and you shouldn't worry about your stats. You should be going for what you know works, right?
Oh, okay, that's a good like. Okay, because that's what I'm worried about right now. Because
Yeah.
I don't know my stats, and I'm scared that
No, but you
I
know that the languages matter to you.
yes. Okay, so I should take that with that knowledge with me throughout all
Yeah,
the whole game.
because ultimately this character is going to die, and you're going to get a chance to redo it, right? You're going to come back in with the same character in theory, and
Hmm.
you're gonna fix it. You're gonna is something that you didn't want last time, or like something that you decided it wasn't as useful as you wanted it to be. Next time, you get to not
Right,
delve
but
so
there are
hard into
some
it.
things that are permanent, right?
There are some things that you're gonna decide you wanted to actually be better, and then you're gonna be sad that you didn't invest heavily into it now.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? So like linguists,
Hmm.
we're deciding is probably a primary skill for you.
Yeah. So okay, we'll go with 9, and I'm leaving it at that. Don't ask me for any more.
Okay, so we can explain the skill system a bit. Skills come in apprentice, which is the starter. That's 3 languages in linguist.
Okay.
Journeyman, which is the next step up, which would be 6 languages, right? Expert, which is the next step up, and that's 9 languages. It goes up
Okay.
master and then grandmaster and then ends.
Okay. Okay. So I'm an expert already.
Mm-hmm. Which is, as you can agree, not actually that high, but it's way higher of an investment than you've made thus far.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, especially considering if that's my main like my incantation, my what my main casting thing is
Yes.
going to be. That's like actually I'm maybe I'm not as much as incompetent, and I'm not letting my mother down, or not as good as my. I mean, I'm nowhere near her, but like I'm going to be young, so
So
and already with skill. Good. Okay.
that one. So naiads are actually what you're imitating. So naiads are a like almost hold on. They're like a natural incarnation of beauty and fertility. They are one of the fundamental original powers of the world. Naiads are similar to your mother, and actually, she studied them to create a lot of her sorceries. They're powerful, woman-esque figures, but
Okay.
they're very much tied to the natural world, not so much the human world, not so much the magical world. You get what I'm meaning?
Yeah.
They are in that area of existence. They are considered the most powerful um, of the natural creatures. So,
Are they kind of like nymphs and like
yes,
sparrowgans?
yes, they are
Okay.
kind of like nymphs. I've never heard of the other one. What did you say?
Sparrowgans, like Sparrigan. It's like in Skyrim. They're like tree, like Trent, like, and they have like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I think the asparagus are a little bit more monsterish. These are
Yeah, they are.
intelligent beings.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, yep.
So they the whole like idea of incantation as a sorcery art, like a spellcasting form,
Mm-hmm.
came from the naiads.
Okay. Which, yep. Okay, that would make sense. That I definitely would know their language. Okay, cool.
Yes. This one would have been your standard. I'm giving you the local. So you're on a continent that's known as the Shadowlands.
Okay.
Which is placed on a supercontinent known as Vacante. And to your east, the next continent over, which is connected by borders, right?
Okay.
Is the Highlanders territory, which is called the Highlands.
Okay.
And then the to your west exists the Buried Terrace, and to your south exists the Sky Mountains. And it's presumed it would be clever of you to know the like most common variation of their primary speeches.
Okay.
Wait.
What?
Yeah, and we'll leave it at that for now. There's only
That's
6.
7.
The standard one you don't. It's not an expended skill.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So, do you think would I know some demonology? Is it like Latin? And then, I mean, it probably would be Latin in your world, but like,
Yeah. Would you like a demon tongue?
Yeah.
Just a random one, or that's what I'm saying. Like you can decide later on if you have a demon you're interested in. You get what I'm meaning? There's a lot of demons.
Oh, so there's not just like one kind of language most of the demons speak. They all.
Yeah. If you want to learn the general one, you can. Do you want to learn?
Yeah. I think
okay.
she would want the general one, and then I think later, if there was a specific one that she really want, I think I would like the option. But I think her just having a like the general common tongue of it would be very beneficial.
Okay. So, would you like the what's considered the ancient version of General Common or the more modern version of General Common?
I feel like ancient, because I feel like that would have a lot more power behind it than common.
Good instincts.
Rewritten.
Okay, so Ancient Daemon. You have a good instinct. I'm rewarding you for that, and we'll give you what we'll give you Instinct SS, and then we'll also give you Greater Essence Power SS as like a additive to it.
Instinct and then greater essence.
Essence
Okay.
Power.
Yes, a greater essence power.
Mm-hmm. That's a stat, by the way.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
So,
cool. And then the rest will I think the other ones like we'll just leave, because that means I'm at 7 now, so I have 2 more.
Oh, 2 more, really? Oh yeah. I was
I was
gonna leave you at 3 more. Yeah, you have 2 more. Yes.
Yep. Okay. So yep. Okay. We'll leave myself at 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So I think can we, since I already like establish my staff, and I think over the years I want her to be training her speech and just working on the languages and just making sure she knows how to enunciate.
What did we want our secondary spellcast form to be, by the way?
Oh, what? Oh, that would be
We
sophisticated.
choose a primary and then we choose a secondary. You can technically all in incantations. I'm just making sure that you
Okay.
know.
But no, I think, yeah, I almost kind of think I actually kind of think I want to do inscription too. Even though like physical sounds fun, I just feel like her being like like linguist and with like knowing all the words, like being able to write them too, and if she can put power in both. But imagine her like, oh, is this a thing? Like if she speaks her written words, does
Yes.
that make it even stronger?
You do find success in that. Yes.
Okay, yes. So that's not gonna be secondary.
You would learn that the Highlander priests cast in this manner.
Okay, okay. Yeah. I feel
Mhm.
like it'd be like monk like in a way. Like monks would be or something of the which I don't know
Well,
what Highlander
like I
priests
just
are.
said, the priests. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Highlander priests. But yeah.
That's the same
You know, they might
concept.
not be monks though. Priests are like, you know, I don't know what kind of priests they are.
Mhm.
But
Well,
yeah, don't know. Cool, cool. Yeah, that
holy
is.
church priests, the kind that you would imagine, like the Pope in the Catholic Church type
Yeah,
of.
okay, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right.
Um, they have their holy rites and their holy books. They speak incantations and summon forth power from their gods. Right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so
You
no,
do a similar thing to that.
yes. Awesome.
Not the form of cast, right? But the way you cast.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
Your power comes from your core. Their power comes from some god.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm built different.
Kill those around here.
so you actually come to love your magic once you've decided to not try to thrust it out similar to the way that Nihilus does.
Yes.
You come to understand that she's fairly disappointed with your mage-like behavior. She would like spit out when she says mage. She doesn't. We
Oh,
don't
like
like
it's like a
those around here.
slur almost. Like
Wound,
okay, yeah.
wound.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. Damn,
um,
mother. Okay, understandable though.
so as you approach the age of 14, um, you know that at that age you're supposed to undergo the witching. However, you've decided it's not in your best interest, as every time you attempt to confront your power with demonic force of any kind or twisted influence similar to the veil, you have had bad results.
Okay.
um, so you are basically like your character would basically be determined to not do the witching, no matter how much uh, Nihilus, your
But
mother, demands it.
mother. Okay. Yep.
Um, so as we're approaching, right? What are we trying to do?
I'm approaching
Feel free
14.
to. By the way, I did a major time skip there from like 7 to or 6. Yeah,
Yeah.
6 to 7 to 14. Feel free to fill in that time if you so wish.
Okay. Well, during that time, definitely working on the incantation and her inscription skills.
Yeah, we definitely know you've been studying languages and
So
reading a lot
yes.
of books and writing a lot of
So
books.
I also would be like trying to study to make sure I could get Bark out with me. Like, oh, so I guess what happens if I don't go through the witching? Like, what happens when I turn
Okay,
14 and I don't go through
so
it?
we thought that bark might be difficult to get out of the veil, but as you age, you realize that was more of a adolescence issue, right? You couldn't protect Bark when you were 6, but
Okay.
Bark's real fear is being killed by burning. Not he doesn't actually have a problem leaving necessarily.
Okay, but and I can reassure Bark that like I
You'll
will
protect him.
protect them. Yeah, like, and I want them to come with me. So like, why not?
By the way, you've also been spending time at a village that Nihilus intends for you to take over after your witching.
Okay.
So,
Okay, what is this village called? Does it have a name?
yeah, we're gonna call it Raven's Peak,
Okay.
and it is currently by a river, so that's its fresh water.
Through the woods to grandmother's house we go.
And primarily does its food gain by hunting.
Okay.
It's a fairly like low-lying village. It's definitely a witch village, so presumably these people respect you and serve you in some way.
Okay.
And that's the one that she's intending for you to take over. However, if you disobey her and go there anyway, it's potentially a bad thing, right? That she can track you.
Yeah. Okay.
Potentially. That doesn't
Potentially.
necessary.
Um, is there like what is the witching? What is the process of it?
So, as you understand it, there you will go through a ritual on the ritual ground, of which Spirit will reside. Nihilus, your mother, she will introduce a demon within the ritual ground as you are sealed within it, and you will like the spirit of a demon, right? And
Yeah.
the spirit of the demon um, will attempt to possess you, and your ability to fight off the possession is the witching.
Well, wouldn't I be actually pretty good at that considering I know ancient daemon and I've been working on incantations? So wouldn't I be able to do it? Like, couldn't I find a way to almost like cheat it? Like, could I like somehow like figure out a way to make it speak and write an inscription that makes the demon actually be my familiar for,
So
or am I just like
when
trying to
the
be too
spirit,
crazy?
well, I'm not saying that. The truth is that you don't know, right? But
Okay.
the idea here is that when the demon possesses you, you and it are bound.
Mm, okay.
So
No. So
whatever
okay.
sorcery you're gonna attempt to use on the demon is truly being used on you.
You. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 I think. Oh gosh, this might. But yeah, you said so.
Feel free
But
to talk about it.
maybe.
100%.
Uh.
At the moment,
So
I think your
if it's
character
so,
is thinking about trying to ditch the witching and escaping with Bark to the village, at least to gain initial resources before leaving.
right. Yeah,
That's
okay.
probably
So
the
I'm
current
thinking
plan.
that is kind of what it's looking like. But I'm just like wondering, okay. So I guess like if I don't do the witching, am I allowed to like willingly leave or no? I'm not technically. I'd have to like quote unquote escape and be like a fugitive per se and like hide from my mother.
But by the way, I forgot to mention, but your stave is presumably not useful for your form of sorcery. Your initial stave, the thorn stave, was designed as
Yes.
a physical implement, a physical simple implement. So you'd
Yes.
have to
Okay.
design a new stave, or sorry, a
Okay.
new thing in general, whatever it may be.
Okay.
Obviously, wands and staves, the traditional method for physical implements, is no longer the necessarily the best for you. You do have a what's called a grimoire, by the way. I've kind of forgot to mention it for some reason, despite it being like the most important thing ever to you.
Oh. Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Okay.
but the grimoire, what that is it's a book that you made, presumably under the guidance of Spirit when you were very young. And Nihilus basically teaches you that this grimoire is the most important thing in the world to you at all times. Um, she helped you craft it, so you don't exactly know what all goes into it. Um,
Okay.
it's very high level of enchanting, and you presumably with your level of enchanting helped create like the binds and make like the actual covers, right? Like simple stuff, make the paper. You enchanted it all with your own power, so in that way it's part of you. You also bloodlet into it at some point, and you divided part of your soul into it. And what this does, or what the grimoire is supposed to do, is allow you to resurrect. So if for some reason you are to perish, you will always come back to this world. And when you do, you will always like at a certain age, your like newly born soul will remember this life. So you will like resurrect in that manner.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Normally they don't remember, but in this case you would.
Yeah, the grimoire would demand that the new person that should be you remembers you.
Or you. Okay.
That's how the
Um
grimoire works. So the grimoire must be stored somewhere where it's presumably safe, because if someone were ever to torch it, then that process would have been hindered.
okay. But didn't you about the staff though, the form you said though that staffs you can use it for all forms.
You can, yes, you can design a stave for all forms. However,
Oh, okay, but
the original
I
was
yeah.
not designed for all.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, so we have to
I
create
guess I
new.
technically like could say like, well, maybe because the different people and the different languages they could have spoken with, but like, ooh, I won't be like that.
Wait, what?
Like because like I said, I took like the apparitions that kind of like use them as the thing. So like wondering if I could like use like what their like voices were into. This still
Oh,
doesn't. Yeah, like
wait.
use it in that perspective instead.
Yeah, like it can listen to you. The stave can listen to you. Somehow.
Listen, and it can maybe speak. Yeah, it helps speak
That's
because it's
so
from
fucking
people.
cool. What? I've never thought about that ever.
It's like, yeah, because I'm thinking about them being like still like human beings and like, because that's why I want to like, it's still like kind of like, it's like reminding me, I don't know where, I feel like I've seen it from somewhere. It's like kind of giving me the vibes of like what Ursula does to like her people when she curses them. She has them as those little worm maggots, but they're still like people and she could still use them for things. That's kind of like how I'm imagining them. They can kind of still speak and like be things, but they're like not useful themselves, but they can be useful if I utilize them.
Okay, so what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to put some form of power crystal. That so what you're essentially doing is you're creating a new being, right? It's
Okay.
like it's another form of abomination on some level. So you would
Exactly.
take the living wood, you would during the enchanting and crafting process give it its own like self in quotes, and then attach it with a new core. So you'd be creating a being with a new core. It's an artificial being, so it's significantly easier. Um,
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's not
uh,
like a was something that was already like it's already like like
right.
it's soul
So
ripped from its physical entity.
so
Yeah.
so then what would happen is that the power of the stave could be controlled like almost remotely by the being, and then you would like use your persuasion casting on the stave to convince it to do what you want it to do. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So like
Yeah.
this stave can choose to follow people, but presumably won't. Like,
Yes. Yes.
which is so
Okay.
cool. That's super dope. I can totally
Okay.
imagine someone finding this stave and then it just like lights them on fire if you gave it a fire
Yeah.
crystal.
Yeah. I'd be like,
It's like I
can
don't like
you?
you. Let go.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, that's super dope. I don't know how to reward you since you're not going down the craftsman route. Uh,
well, you did already
well,
give me
well,
the enchanter one earlier,
we'll give you
so
a relic SS.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't worry about the plentifulness of the SSs. That's normal.
Oh, okay. Cool. 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 Which is fine. Okay. Cool. All right.
They're one
Because I
time
was thinking,
uses.
like,
So.
oh, like I really wanted that staff, like, to at least be like a staff. I mean, of course, like you said, I'm gonna go through different ones, but I wanted that one to like probably like be my like thing for a little bit.
You can still sell it, by the way,
Well,
if you
no,
care about money.
yeah, I mean, maybe if that was like something I had to felt needed to do, but I almost feel like that would be nice to hold on to and see if maybe I could um like give it to someone else, like or like
Yeah,
maybe
you
I
can
could
give it to an
maybe I
apprentice or something later.
could train Bark on to use it. Like who knows? Like,
Oh shit! Wait a second.
yeah, like a
No,
train Bark.
that works actually. He can do that.
Especially because it's living.
Um,
I think after I grow out of it, I would 110%
so
teach. Or actually,
he would convert it to like a kind of short sword. So like he would craft it and you would enchant it to be in that more of that form, right?
okay.
Um, and yeah, he's totally able to like so when he like stabs a thing, let's say he stabs a training dummy, he can protrude spikes out of it, which would create a kind of like a barbed sword effect.
Yeah, okay.
And when he wants it to release, he can just let it like it's a form of mastery is what it's called. I know that's a more complicated topic. We don't have to get into it. But
Okay.
he maesters the thorns off of the blade and then can pull out cleanly while leaving barbs inside of the victim.
Ooh. Ooh.
That
I
would be the
wonder.
way he would
Ooh.
kind of use it.
Cool. I thought, ooh, I feel like then too, I maybe would learn
Mind
some
you, he's not
alchemy or
actually a warrior, so he probably wouldn't want to do this so
want
much.
to. But
Yeah.
I think if I was like, Bark, I need your help, like, or
Yeah.
be like, hold the door, he would hold the door.
Right, right.
He would, but, okay, cool. So, all right. So I think, okay. So, so would my mother be hunting me down if I left?
Okay, so your mother is a little bit strange with how she does things.
Okay.
She's put so much investment and time into you, and she is like visibly angry with your progress, and she never thinks of you as like a true witch. She's actually
Right.
said as much. So like
Yes.
there's a part of you that thinks that like with how she is, that she could just decide to up and kill you because you're a disappointment.
Right. Like I personally don't think I have any safe graces just because I'm her daughter.
Well,
Like I'm
no,
just as
but
disposable as
that's
the
where it
next
gets
person.
tricky because
Okay.
for whatever reason, while she might do the most heinous things ever without a moment's thought to randoms, she's always like actively thinking, remembering you, right? She brings you gifts on your birthday. She actively
Okay.
tells you to call her mother, right?
Okay. So she does actually have some compassion and like a heart for me, even though she maybe won't admit it or
Right.
like
That's what you think is going on. Yes.
okay, so like so I could, even though I don't want to do the witching, I think I could maybe escape and not think she's gonna immediately like murk myself and I could like
You think she
it's
would be immensely disappointed, but you don't think she'd actually go out of her way to kill you. You think that she's accepting the fact that you're flying the coop.
okay. I agree. And honestly, you're right, because I guess thinking more about it, like if that was the case, like I actually wouldn't be able to escape. Like there'd be a trap and I'd be dead. Like I'd be incinerated. Like as soon
Yeah,
as I try to leave the glade. Like, you know, like
you think that if it was a demand that she actually cared about, there would be no escape. Yes.
yeah, they exactly. Like knowing how strong, no matter what I would know, like there's just no way. There's no way I would be able to beat her, especially at 14.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So I think you're right though. I think it is just gonna be shoot. I'm just gonna try to fly the coop. And then but the thing is the incentive is ooh, I wonder. Can I leave a note for my mom and actually leave like a spell with it that maybe hopefully can try to have an effect on her to show her that maybe I am like not as much of a disappointment. I do have like something to show for it and just be like I would like I don't know what I'm gonna say. I think we might need to take a break and I might need to like come like back for our next session for like what's gonna continue for the
Sure. Yeah.
14 because I have like a lot of things to think about. But and like a story like kind of like
Okay.
because that's like
So we're stopping just before you leave.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because but like is that like do
That was
you,
a
I
session.
guess I won't know to would that be possible for me to like yeah leave a note that would somehow like leave a message to her but I wonder like what it would imply. I need to learn. I'm gonna think about that more.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Feel free.
Okay.